Back, everybody. This is a special extra bonus edition of Relationship Gumbo Podcast Live. And we have a special guest today, but even a more important topic. We're going to talk about domestic violence, but more so about how domestic violence cases and calls have increased because of the quarantine. So we're going to do a little deep dive into that just so you guys can understand what's really going on out here. So what I want you to do is share and invite this with your friends and family, whether you know somebody that's affected by domestic violence or not. Because in reality, you know, if one of us is, all of us are. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. So give me about 15 seconds. Let me make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to do, and I'll be right back.
This one for the streets that taught me lessons. Hey, they told me about the grief and people out here stressing. They told me how the evils wanna keep you from progressing. It's people in your circle wanna keep you from your blessing. No talking to them people when them people come with questions. This mama say no ratting. For them, that's a lesson. Be careful of the people you invest in.
All right, we are back. So this is a live podcast broadcast. Let me move this mic down a little bit. So what I normally do is I'll pause for 3 seconds, start the podcast, and then feel free to comment, and I'll address comments if they're pertinent to the topic. And then at the end, I will pause for another 3 seconds, and then we can kind of have, if you have questions or extra comments, we can address them there. But during the podcast section, we're just trying to get the content out. But if you have pertinent comments or you want to share a little story, I may add that in depending on the timing. So stand by and we're going to get started. And welcome to another episode of the Relationship Gumbo Podcast. I am your host, Derek Jones. I'm a certified life coach, an engineer, a strategist, and a mental health advocate. And today we have a very serious topic and the topic is quarantine and domestic violence. Because right now, you know, as I would say a country, but as the world, you know, a lot of us are living that quarantine life right now, and we're having to stay indoors a lot and be around family members and spouses and girlfriends and stuff like that more time than we normally are. And so in a lot of cases that poses yet another problem for people, is really getting in and getting down and dirty with your relationship. And sometimes it's not so pretty for a lot of people. So this particular topic, the reason why this kind of popped up is a lot of us don't even think about this. Now that we're quarantined, we worrying about what movie we're going to watch. We worrying about, you know, what am I doing with my kids for the next month or two because they're going to be at home. But I heard someone online mention that domestic violence cases, there's an uptick in cases. And I was like, wait, like I'm plugged into a lot of stuff, but it just wasn't in my purview of thinking about that. And I was like, that's crazy as hell. So I was like, let me do a show about it. And so my guest that I'm going to introduce, Mr. Jerome Jackson, he has been championing domestic violence for a long time. I'm going to let him intro himself and let him tell you what his ties are to domestic violence and why he cares so much about it. And then we're going to address this quarantine situation and how we're dealing with it, good and bad. So Mr. Jackson, I'm going to bring him up here real quick. So hold on 1 second, guys. All right, Mr. Jackson, welcome to the show.
What's up, fam?
So tell people a little bit about yourself and what your tie-in is to domestic violence and why it matters to you so much.
As I stated, my name is Jerome Jackson. I go by Disco Jackson. I mean, that's my alter ego in the entertainment world. Domestic violence means so much to me. My sister was murdered some years back by her son's father. It was a hard time for our family. She left behind kids. The youngest one being 1 at the time, I believe. It was 1 year old. That was the 1 year old's father is the one that performed this act. So I went on a journey to help others not become victim to this, if possible, to help other families, not see their loved ones taken away from them. I'm also a police officer. I've been a police officer for a long time now, so I see a lot in this realm. I respond to a lot of calls that has to do with domestic violence. You know, it's it's part of the job, but it's a part of the job that I hate. But actually, it's a part of the job that I enjoy because I get to speak to those people and try to help mediate it and help see the victims, find a better way, find a way to get out of that situation as best as possible. So it's been a journey. I've taken education in the field of domestic violence awareness beyond what my scope of my law enforcement duties call for. I've done a lot of things on my own. I'm like one certification away from becoming a national certified advocate. Hopefully I can obtain that this year. That way I can actually call myself a professional behind it, an expert, I guess. So that's where I am.
Cool. And I believe at one point you actually directed and made a movie about domestic violence.
Yeah,
let's not forget about that.
My passion in life outside of domestic violence awareness is filmmaking and writing. My very first film that I ever made was A Coward's Dream. It was about domestic violence. It played on some parts of events that I've seen at work and or experienced through family members, and my sister's tragedy is told in that as well.
Right. That's a great movie. If we'll talk about how we'll either talk about it at the end or we'll link you to it. I believe the whole movie is on YouTube now.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah. I got it out there.
Yeah, we'll link people to that because it's a great movie. I got a chance to see it when it premiered, and it still holds true. Unfortunately, yes. A lot of that stuff still holds true, and so let's.
Unfortunately, that film is. I'm sorry to cut you off, but unfortunately, that film is a timeless tale.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to always hold true. Hopefully, we can dwindle it down some.
Right.
We're gonna try to do our best.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room, this quarantine, and what it's doing to people. Just in what I do with this show, we talked about slightly about the anxiety and the depression and people feeling stuck in the house and, how they gonna make it day by day when they used to being outside and having those things to help them cope, like going to the bar or going to their boy house to play video games or whatever it is.
Right.
When you take all of those coping mechanisms, whether they're good or bad, away, and you're stuck in the house,
right,
the collateral damage sometimes is your family.
Yeah, man. It's in most cases, man. As a police officer, man, what I noticed, a lot of us during the holidays, there's an uptick in domestic violence incidents. Because people are off work, people are enclosed in the house in one setting, and a lot of people just get on each other's nerves, man. It's and it happens. So imagine right now we're on one long holiday, dude. It's like one long, never-ending holiday. People are stuck in the house and just can't get away. So the problems that, first of all, let me say this: take this time and reevaluate your relationship. That's what you really need to do, because what pisses you off about that person and the day-to-day basis, you're like, I'm going to work, I ain't worried about it. Or that you can normally get away from, it's going to magnify.
Yep.
It's going to magnify right now. I mean, it's really no getting away from it. It's just going to irk you. So you need to really reevaluate your relationship and his home where you want to be. Is everything you're going through really, what you want to do? Because this person is going to irritate your soul.
Yes.
But everything that you settled for is going to come to light, man, and it's going to bother you. So you need to reevaluate that. Is this where you want to be? Is this how you want to live for the rest of your life? Because it's not going to get any better. If you can't stand to be with the person you are with right now, imagine if this gets worse when we're literally forced to stay in the house. We kind of push that way right now, but you can still come outside and sneak away to the store or something like that.
Yeah, and for me, just looking at and just even my own relationship and just people who are in them, this isn't a time like let's say your relationship, and this will make sense when I finish.
Go ahead.
When you have a relationship that isn't necessarily going so well, but you're not leaving and none of y'all are leaving, don't look at this situation of being in quarantine as being stuck. This is an opportunity for you to take time to really get to know your partner better and to work on the communication and to work on, you may like it's something as simple as playing a card game together or something like something for you to connect. And you should be able to during this time, because even like, where we live, the kids are at the very least, it's another 4 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta really take time to grow. This is a unique time where your relationship has the opportunity to grow more than it probably ever will, because your schedule is not in play.
Absolutely. And I was gonna say that, but I wanted to get that reevaluate, and that's part of the reevaluating the relationship as well. I want to be positive, have some positive in this as well. I don't like to be negative all the time. This can be a good time, like you said, grow, man. See, you actually learn how much you love your partner, how much you love yourself, how much you love your kids. No matter how bad they are, and they tearing up the house, on food right now. But you can get a chance to learn each other, man. Sit down and talk, play those games, card games, man. Play family games. It's that time to rebuild the family. This is legit it right here. You might not get another chance to do this, That person you fell in love with, you get to see that person again. Nurture that, foster that them feelings that are there, that's been harboring. And you might have not had time to tell your woman that you loved her or show her that you love her. You might not have had time to show your man that you loved him, Take this time to do that. It's get to know your mate, get to know them. And talk about, sit down and talk. Take some time, sit down and talk about your issues, man. You may not realize how closed off someone is until they open up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I did a show. We're gonna address a couple of these comments in a minute. I did a show called "Don't Let Your Schedule Define Your Relationship," and that's what a lot of people do, and that ties into this too, because if your relationship is always about you, go, let me take the kids to the football game, let me do this, and then when you get home, you eat, it's time to go to bed, and then you rinse and repeat. Right now, it's getting real. It's getting real for a lot of people. But like I said, a lot of people are feeling like, you see the post on Facebook, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, I got to be around these kids. All that energy you putting out into the universe. Yeah, absolutely. This is a chance for you to actually do something positive for your family, because I'm gonna tell you, like I talk about in all my shows, when you have an outward display of dysfunction in a household, your kids are going to pick that up, and that trauma and that dysfunction rolls downhill, and then they become you. Yeah, they become you. Absolutely, man. The kids are the product of their environment, man. Their product. It all starts at home. I see this all the time, man. It starts at home, dude. A lot of this domestic violence that the kids are experiencing, they're going to take that into the future with them, man. They're going to take that into another relationship because they think that's what's right. They see daddy coming home mad, punching the walls and throwing stuff. They think that's okay. The little girls see their mom getting hit. They think that's okay. Yeah. They think that's okay, and it's not. And the unfortunate thing is, there's people out here that's my age, your age, that are products of that. And you can see it in the decisions that they make. And it all starts with like what I always tell people is, no matter what your situation is, if you're not willing to fix it, you owe it to your kids to get up out of there. And because the best gift you can give to your kids is a happy version of you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And staying because of the kids, I talked about this before. It doesn't help the kids for you to say, I'm only here because I feel like they need all the parents in the house if you getting banged up against the wall every day.
Right. Absolutely, man. And since we're on this topic of kids, real quick, if you don't mind.
No problem.
I look, man, I'm 100% invested in this, dude, in the domestic violence journey for awareness. I'm invested. So I've responded to calls, man, and I had a buddy, one of my coworkers, man, great guy. He did something one day, and I was like, damn, okay. And we was on a domestic violence call, and it was just bad, man. It was bad. It was a 2-year-old, I believe, 1 or 2-year-old was sitting on the steps, just sitting there looking sad. And my buddy was like, hey, you want to meet my friend? He was like, yeah. The little kid lit up, man. And my buddy, he went out to his car, came back with a teddy bear, man. His teddy bear, he always ride around with this teddy bear in the car. I'm like, damn, dude, you just gave him your bed. Because religiously, he had this in his car. I was like, and the kid lit up when he gave it to him, dude. He lit up, man, and smiled.
Yeah.
He grabbed it and hugged it, man. And then he was like, I was like, dude, you just gave him your bear, man. Like, that's yours. He was like, oh, man, that's what it's for, man. You got to put a smile on the kid's face. I don't mind that. I was like, and it hit me right there. Like, wow, man. Wow. So I went on a journey. I didn't even plan to do this, but it's sitting next to me, so I had to do this. I went and got bears, man. I went and did a little fundraiser for the I went to build a bear. I raised some money. Oh, can y'all see it?
Yeah.
I went and did a fundraiser for Build a Bear, man. And I did a GoFundMe, man. People showed up and showed out, man. I appreciate all that helped me. And I started passing them out on calls, man. I had a lady come to the station, man, with 2 kids for she was questioning about domestic violence, and the kids just they looked sad, man. I gave them bears, man. The lady was happy, man, and the kids were just smiling with joy. It was a boy and a girl. So that's what I do. I ride around with the bears in my cruiser and just hand them out, man. And I've taken tons of them to domestic violence agencies down here. We have a liaison in the courthouse. I've taken a whole shipment to the liaison at the courthouse. They all appreciate it. It's about giving back, man, putting a smile on each kid's face, putting a positive light to the situation, man. It doesn't always have to be bad, you know?
Yeah, and I commend you for that, because we need because at the end of the day, no matter how much we think certain things about people, man, we on this planet to connect with each other.
Absolutely.
It's about community, and it takes, like, people think that they aren't enough to impact, but it only takes one person to impact another. It's just like I always tell people about energy. Like, when you walk into a room, that energy is infectious. What you do may inspire another officer to do the same thing. It may inspire someone in the community to do the same thing. Absolutely. But what if you never tried? Right. Like, we gotta think more of ourselves. And that's why I wanted to do this show, because it really, like, and I don't have like someone in my family that dealt with domestic violence, but I'm a part of a community that does. And so when I heard that, it's something in me just snapped. I was like, yo, like, we in here talking about Netflix shows, and somebody getting banged up against the wall right now because their husband has to be quarantined in the house with them. Right. And I was like, and the fact that, like, domestic violence happens every day, but now it's going up because of this. Like, what? I was just stunned. I was stunned. Like, I understand why, because, you know, all the stuff we talked about before, but damn, like, I was just like, let me call up Jerome and
oh, man, I'm glad you did, bro. I mean,
and we gotta get this in. Like, y'all know this ain't my scheduled time. I'm gonna be on at 8 p.m. tonight again. But I was like, yo, we gotta get this out here, because people aren't really. I think Disco might have to come back in, but just to finish that point, people really need to hear and understand this, and keep an eye out and check on your family and your friends and make sure they're good. Whether it's domestic violence or not, like, it's a lot of people that's struggling right now. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do while Jerome, Harry, he's back now. Hold on.
Hey, I'm sorry, bro. Hey, man, Smecco said they was gonna give me to the end of the night, man. I don't know why. They said they would give me to the end of the night, man. Damn, Smecco, I had to send that $100 off real quick. I'm sorry.
Let me hit a couple of these comments while we in here, because I said that you know, if I see pertinent comments,
go ahead. Absolutely.
From Periscope, Get Noticed with Nikki says both men and women, domestic violence is on the rise, and that's true. Absolutely. I mean, you know, we always forget about the men, but there's some men out there that's dealing with it too.
That go through it, bro.
And Latanya Tibbs from Facebook says, yes, this world was meant to connect, period. And
hey, can I, real quick, while you reading those, I want to shout out Michelle Ford, man. She was very, very, very integral into my being able to get these bears, man. Thank you so much. She's a great spirited person, man. She's a supporter. She helps, man. I appreciate you. I will ride with her forever. We will definitely I have some plans in the future to do more events for domestic violence awareness. And I know she will be number one there with me helping. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Michelle, let's give a hand for Michelle Ford, because Michelle Ford, when she connects with something you're doing, she gives her heart and soul. She does the same for me. Yes. And we, you know, it's not like we've been friends for years or anything like that, but when she connects, she really supports. So it's definitely worthy of a shout out for her, because she's a gem. Let me make sure. Get Noticed with Nikki from Periscope says it actually makes the children feel guilty.
I was looking at that. What?
Yeah.
Now, can you which part of what we spoke about says that?
When we were talking about how the kids feel when their parents are going through whatever they're going through in the house, sometimes the kids may feel like it's their fault.
Right. Okay, I got you.
And and Alicia bought this 2,000 piece puzzle that we supposed to do together,
and it's not done yet.
And
it's not done yet.
If you look slipping. At that thing,
Alicia, he's slipping. We ain't got nothing but time, dude.
I haven't jumped into it yet. She started, but that's one of those things. Like, it's one of these things you take for granted, like playing cards and puzzles and stuff. The simple stuff. Getting back to the simple stuff. It ain't but so much time you're gonna spend looking at your cell phone for the next month or two before you start getting like you're gonna run out of shows to watch on Netflix. You gotta go back to the basics, man. People done already binged all the shows they want to watch, and they sitting at home like, damn, can I get some suggestions on something to watch? Because and when you get into that space where you got to really be with yourself and be self-aware, these people going back to domestic violence, you in that space like that insecure space, that angry space, whatever it is that makes you go there, like Jerome said, it intensifies. And if you really care about your significant other, about your kids, this is the time for you to sit down and say, you know what? I really don't like how I'm behaving and how I'm making them feel. And here's an opportunity for me to talk about this and really let them know how much I care and what I'm willing to do to change. Like you got it. Like you will probably, hopefully this whole pandemic thing will never happen again. And this is a unique opportunity for us to really gut check ourselves personally, your relationship, all of that stuff. You got time to sit and actually like reflect and figure some things out.
Right. Hey, can I address a comment here real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's two of them. Urban Sweat events. Don't forget about emotional abuse. The scars run deep. Man, that emotional abuse is a lot of times more harsh than the physical abuse. The emotional abuse stays with you. I have so many females, man, that and males, but a majority females that feel like they ain't worth nothing, man. They feel like they're worthless. They don't have anything, that nobody else wants them. They have been alienated from their family. It's because they're emotional. Well, I've heard, I ain't gonna say no names, but there's somebody famous that said if you control the mind, you can control the body. That's a famous saying by somebody that's out there.
Right.
You can control the mind, you can control the body. And it's truth to that.
Yeah.
There's definitely truth to that. So if once a guy plays, and I believe that he plays on females' emotions because he's insecure about himself. He knows that woman is not on his level. She shouldn't be with him. So what does he have to do? He has to make sure that she doesn't go anywhere so he can maintain that. So no one else can have that. So you strike her in the mind, man. You make her feel like she's less than dog crap. You know what I mean? Like she's nothing. Yeah. And it's
that narcissism and that ego, man.
And another thing from Nikki, especially when you say I stayed for the children. I have someone right now, man, that reached out to me last week actually. She said, what do you do when somebody keeps hitting you? So we broke it down and I got to talking to her. I said, well, why are you still there? She said, well, I want to be there. I want my baby to have a family. She has a little girl. I think the baby's not even one yet. She said, I want my daughter to grow up with a family. I want to stay there I said, nah, you can't do that. You got to break that right now. Because she's going to grow up seeing that.
Yep.
But she doesn't work. He's of course the financial provider. She drives, of course, but that's about it, man. And he's playing those games where I said, man, look, you got to go. You guys says that she lives somewhere other than where she was raised. So she has family back home. She says she doesn't have any way to get back home, that type of thing. So I've been trying to work out some resources, trying to figure out things, see how far my reach can go. But that's the game that these dudes are playing, man. That's what they playing. They know they got to get, and a lot of these guys are getting females pregnant on purpose. So they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's
true.
Crazy?
Y'all tripping, man.
That is true.
I'm not locking nobody in, man. That doesn't want to be there. Are you kidding me? For what? Go get somebody else better, man. Why are you doing that, dude? That's retarded to me. It's stupid.
Yeah, Alicia said the problem is they really gotta want to do it, and that's true.
Yes.
And a lot of times, those the people that are the abusers, they got hard heads, man. They don't want to change. They don't see the wrong, and that's why I think it's important to have dialogue like this, so that maybe that abuser may happen upon a show like this one day and say, you know what, that's me.
Right. Absolutely.
Because sometimes you need to hear it from a different voice, because that spouse or that girlfriend ain't the voice for them for it to get through to them once they get to that point. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Get Noticed with Nikki from Periscope says emotional abuse usually comes before the slap or the punch.
Yep.
And that's true.
It's a test, man. They testing you out. They testing your temperament.
Yeah,
they testing your temperament. They'll say some little slick stuff real quick. Man, I'll knock your ass out, or something real quick, slick, just to see how you going to take it. Exactly. And then next thing you know, it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That happens,
that's
bro.
as real as it. Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's such a tough subject to even talk about, because when you think about just our women for the most part, and just seeing that hurt, just as a man, like it even hurts to even talk about it sometimes, man. But we gotta. That's why I don't have a female up here, because I want y'all to see that we got y'all too, man. Like, we here. I know sometimes y'all may not feel like it, but we here and we want to put this stuff on the forefront. Get Noticed with Nikki says, let's break these generational curses. Cheryl Mitchell from Facebook says she will think that is the way you're supposed to be loved. If he don't hit me, he doesn't love me.
Some of them think that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's some conditioning that's been accepted over time. And people have in their psyche, male and female, but I would say by and large it's more females getting abused than males. But a lot of times when people think like that, they think about, if I left him, I'm gonna be alone.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna have to start all over, and I've already invested this time.
Yeah.
And I did a show where I talked about this term that says stick with the devil,
Yeah.
And
that's so true.
If you're dealing with evil, and your fear is that when you leave, something more evil may be out there. So if something's gonna be bad, you might as well stick with the one and deal with it, than for you to be alone. And I'm here to tell you, being by yourself and being happy, if that's what the cards are dealt, it's more fruitful than you could ever imagine. There's no shame in that. You don't have to be a wife or a girlfriend for you to be validated as a human being on this planet.
Nope. Your happiness trumps everything, man.
Facebook, the people responses on Facebook to your relationship shouldn't be what you dictate your relationship off of. Like, oh, we're gonna be broken up because he's beating me and I gotta leave. And what's it gonna look like to everybody?
Man,
stop it.
What do you look like with your eye black and you gotta hide it every day? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Stop that. Stop having these relationships. A lot of these people that's posting these pictures that's looking all happy in these photos, and people tagging bagos and relationship goals, they ain't happy, man.
Yeah.
They're not happy at all. They're miserable. They're being cheated on. They're being beat. They're being financially strained.
Yeah.
These folks not happy, man. Stop basing your life off of that. You got to find your own happiness. Create your own life. Yeah. And if you stand somewhere, I'm sorry, Derek. If you stand somewhere because you've been there for 5 years, are you kidding me? And I always go back to this. Somebody who's been in jail for 10 years, right? Should he say, all right, well, I might as well stay here just because, I've been here this long. I don't know what's going to happen on the outside. Are you crazy coming up out of there?
Right.
On his release day, he coming up out of there. When is your release day? When is your release day? That's what you need to realize. When is your release day? Yeah. And if you're afraid to leave the relationship, we can talk about this later, but you can have an exit strategy. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. Have an exit plan, man. That's an emergency exit plan. So you can have a release day. Because you do not need to be held hostage, man. Why are you being held captive? Because of time. That's crazy. That's the one thing you can't get back. Yeah. It's done. It's in the past. It's done. Start something new. Why are you afraid to start over? You got to start new.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. That's we here to have a dialogue. I told you there wasn't no script today, man. We just talking about this. But I'm gonna address a couple of comments and then I'm gonna say one thing. Get noticed what Nikki said. My mom said that's why she stayed. Stick with the devil. Made me feel so bad. And then Cheryl Mitchell says it does go both ways. Also, some women do this to men. Yeah,
oh, man. I got stories for days on that. It's terrible, man. It's terrible, man. It's terrible with some of these females. Let me tell you a real quick story, man. I got to get this one off my chest because it bothered me so much at work, man. Young lady, man. It was a court ordered visitation, right? They're not together. They have 2 kids together. Court order, so they meet in the parking lot of the station. Okay, that's an absolute great thing. So they met. She brought the kids there. The court ordered a mediator to be there during this time. Okay, so the kids were supposed to go with the guy, right? She didn't let the kids go because she didn't like the mediator. She didn't like the mediator, the court ordered mediator.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? The 2 little kids, man. She's standing there saying he's not in the life and my kids don't know him. And but I said, ma'am, he's here with his mother and a mediator.
Right.
He's damn near about to cry. But I can't make him give the kids up. I can't. So I'm like, why don't you just let him go? Nah, he can come over my house. Ma'am, he has we have a protective order against him. He can't come over there. Well, nah, my kids ain't going with him. Y'all have a good day. And rolled out.
Wow.
Rolled out. Now let me fast forward about a month and a half. The same young lady comes in, and the same young lady comes back in, right? She comes into the station. Now, keep in mind, she has a protective order. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a protective order. I'm not gonna go into all the details, but he can't contact her. So he sent her a text message saying happy birthday to the mother of my kids. You know what she did? She came in and I had to take a report and get a warrant against him because he contacted her. I said, well, ma'am, he just said happy birthday. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm sorry. They couldn't have communication outside of arrangements for the children. She said, he texted me. I looked, I read the text. It was happy birthday to the kids' names and mother. I said, okay. I said, what's the problem? He contacted me. I said, huh? She said, yeah, he contacted me. I want to make a report. Like, all right. And so while I'm doing it, right? She says, can you issue a warrant for him so you can be arrested? Like, huh? It's like, nah, I'm gonna take it to the commissioner and they're gonna issue what they want to issue. Because what happened was they had just went to court a couple of days before that, and he walked out of court and nothing happened in court. So she was coming back on some vengeance. Man, the tricks that these females are doing to these dudes are terrible out here, man. They know how to work the system. They know how to play the game. They say anything out of their mouth. And that's going to egg a man on testing his manhood and his pride. And it's wrong, man. It's just so wrong. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No problem. Michelle Ford, speaking of Michelle Ford, Michelle says, I didn't stay, but the laws have to change as well. Sometimes the abuser has just as many rights as the victim. How you feel about that?
Sometimes the abuser has just as many rights as the victim. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess you gotta elaborate a little bit more on that because I don't see that. I mean, what do you explain a little deeper on that for me, please?
Yeah, I think maybe I'm speculating, but maybe if you don't necessarily have evidence, and then it's kind of like your word against mine, and so that abuser, even though they are doing stuff, they kind of have rights too. Like they can get away with it. Because by law, maybe I don't know. I'm not in the law profession, but maybe you need some more proof while the woman is in there suffering, and he's like, okay, what? We good,
right? This was years ago, so maybe things have changed. Good notes when Nikki says, however, he violated the order. He could be a narcissist. Well, I don't know these couple, but I can tell you from the 2 experiences that I've had, it wasn't. Nah, that man was absolutely the victim, and she couldn't show me any other communications they had prior to the text she showed me. I've asked, trust me, and because I was like, the first experience already put a sour taste in my mouth, man. She did him wrong on scene, man. Had that man out there ready to cry, dude.
Yeah,
and she knew what she was doing. Her whole demeanor. Look, this is what I do for a living. I read people very well, and she was being controlled, and she knew she had the ball in her court. She had the power, and that's exactly what she was doing. She couldn't show me any other things that he has done prior to that. I looked in the system. I didn't see any other thing that he'd done prior to that.
Right.
So the fact that they had just left court like the day before, 2 days before, and nothing. She was mad about that because the judge didn't find it in her favor, and then she comes to do that. Come on, man. Then ask me, can I put a warrant out for him? Can I write a warrant? Yeah. Why would you ask me that? So he can be arrested? Why would you do that? Come on, man.
Yeah. And what people don't realize, let me get Michelle's comment real quick. Also, if you defend yourself, they can press charges against you as well for assault.
And that's now it depends. That I get what you're saying for that. It depends on the officer. We're supposed to go. Damn, I can't say too much, man. What I will say is we're supposed to determine who the aggressor is as best as possible on scene. If we can't determine who's aggressive, both go to jail, or we'll advise both to get warrants, depending on the situation. Go down to the commissioner's office and file charges on each other. Yeah. It all depends, man. Because if we can't determine who the aggressor is, then what can we do? You know, I mean, we can't just walk away and say, all right, y'all go to bed and, roll out. Although I've seen that happen. But we can't just do that, So I'm gonna address Michelle, and then we may do something a little off book here because I see the interaction here. So Michelle says, like Derek said, if you're not damn near beat to death or black and blue, it's your word against theirs. Yeah, but I understand. I understand the concern. I mean, really, how can you tell that we go to? I may. No lie, this is no joke. I may go to, in my shift, I may go to 7 calls a day, man. 7.
Right.
Domestic violence calls. I work 10-hour shifts. So that's almost 1 an hour. Can you imagine that? So
that's a lot.
I'm not putting that on the low end, bro.
Right.
I'm putting that on the low end. So just to be fair with it. So imagine how many calls we have to deal with. And everybody deserves to be treated fairly. Absolutely. Everybody deserves the right. Everybody deserves the privileges to the full extent of the law that they deserve, that they earned, But is it feasible? Is it possible every time? Is it reality? Right. It's not. So it's how can we determine if both people are standing there, nobody's bruised, nobody's scratching, just somebody's crying. Whose word do we take? We're not the judge or jury, We officers, we can't necessarily make that determination right there. How do we do that?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I think what I'm gonna do is I might try to get notice with Nikki on here.
Go ahead.
In a second. It's gonna take me a second. She's on Periscope. So
Nigga, we gotta get you on Facebook or something, babe. Come on, we got to get you on here now.
She good. I'm multi-streaming, so she where she's supposed to be. If you can talk to Michelle Ford's comment while I'm doing this real quick.
Right. And
we're gonna try to see if we can get her in here.
Michelle says, I know you're one of the great ones, but some officers are shady, probably at home beating their own wives. I wouldn't say shady. What I would say is they have a lot of officers that's just tired and fed up because, again, we run so many of these calls, man. It's just so many calls that we deal with. And like, oh boy, here we go again to the next one, on to the next one. Everybody's not going to take it as serious as I do. Everybody's not me. I get tired of going to certain calls. I've been to some houses 3 times in a day, the same house that you might go to 7 times in a week. You get tired of seeing these same people, and then come to find out eventually that it's all lies. So it's not necessarily that you don't want to help someone, but some people just have to help themselves at the same time. And what do you do though? Like, we're still bound by laws. There's only so much we can do. It's only so much our policy let us do. So it's not that we necessarily don't want to do something. Sometimes we just can't. Yeah. And it's not always us. You still have rights that we have to follow.
Yeah. So real quick, we're going to try to do this. I don't want to go like super, super long, but I do want to get notice with Nikki to at least express herself. So get notice with Nikki. You're on Periscope. What you're going to do is you're going to go in my bio and click that link in the bio. It's going to bring you in. You have the option to only do audio, or you can be video as well.
Nah, we need video.
Yeah, we need video, but I know, it's quarantine time. You might have that quarantine hair going on or something, so you never know. So click that link. It'll bring you in, and I'll bring you up real quick. Do that real quick, and we're going to keep talking until I see you pop up. So
Cheryl,
thank you.
I'm sorry. Cheryl says, but aren't they supposed to be unbiased? What do you mean? Where's the bias at? In my opinion, the bias would be we're not locking a man up because he's a man, or a female officer not locking a female officer up because it's female. So can you elaborate on that a little bit more, please? And I'll try to explain the best way I can.
Yeah. So, overall, like we talked about a lot of different aspects of this, but not talking about it, not addressing this issue makes it worse. And it's just like anything else in life. Like, it's like if you see something going on and you walk past, like it's cool. You owe it to your community and yourself. I mean, don't put yourself in danger, but we supposed to be out here to help each other, man. Even if that's something on social media, even if you just walking past and be like, hey man, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, she said no video. Just come in and when they ask you to do the camera or the mic, just make sure it's just the mic and not the camera's has the little slash through it.
So that you quarantine. What you talking about? Look at me. You see, I'm looking rough. I ain't had a haircut and God knows when. My barber just called and said he's closing. So what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, man. You're gonna have an afro before this thing over with.
And I gotta go to work like this. Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm happy that we're able to have this dialogue. I'm happy that people are actually, checking it out. Please make sure that you share this because, like I said, you may not be directly affected by it, but somebody that's on your friends list is, and they may need to hear this. And like I said earlier, the person who, if you go get noticed with Nikki, if you go into my bio on Periscope, click on my name, there's a link in there that you can click on. And that's all you have to do. Everything else will do itself. So try that for me. And then we'll try to get you in here before we close out. But the person who's the actual abuser may happen upon this and may see him or herself in this and realize that they need to have that conversation.
And a lot of these abusers don't recognize that they're abusers.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's a part of, like we said, it's a part of how, and a lot of times those kids that you giving a teddy bear to become that.
Yeah.
And then it's so ingrained in them. The trauma is so ingrained in them. It's hard for them to recognize anything different. And so it's really like gut check time.
Yeah. What's sad about that is a lot of these victims don't realize they're victims. I think everything's okay. And it's not, ladies or gentlemen. It's not okay to be hit.
Okay, we're back.
It's not okay to be punched. It's not okay to be talked down upon. Those things aren't okay.
So I'm gonna
gotta do something about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Nikki like one more minute to click that link because I really made it like ridiculously easy for you to do. Because when you're in, hold on one second, guys. When you're in Periscope, you should see my okay, so get noticed with Nikki. This is what you do. If you're still in the Periscope, at the bottom right corner, there's 3 dots. When you click on those 3 dots, you'll see my name. Click on my name, and my profile will come up, and that's where you click. Don't even worry about Facebook. Follow my instructions. This is what I do for a living. I'm a techie. What you do is you go to the 3 dots at the lower right-hand corner, click on the 3 dots. You're going to see the title and you're going to see my name. Click on my name. And when you do that, you're going to see a blue link that you click on. And when you click on that link, it's going to bring you in. That's it. That's all you got to do. And it'll just presto magically pop up and you're going to be like, dang, this is pretty cool. Because I see you said that you are a domestic violence advocate. So that's the only way I wanted you to chime in on this before we got off, because I want other people's perspectives on here, and I want to make sure that the people listening really get the most value out of this. All right.
Sure. Let me address Cheryl's question real quick. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing your response. Have someone leave for the sake of ending the squabble. We can't make anyone leave their home. We can ask, but we can't make anyone leave. We try our best to get someone to leave to calm it down, but they say, "Nah, I ain't going nowhere. It's my home." What can we do? All we gotta do is we just leave it at that. I mean, unfortunately, we can't make someone leave their home, just over that. If we have to make them leave, they're going to jail. That's the only time we can make them leave.
Right.
At that point, but we can strongly encourage someone to go somewhere, to end it, to cool off. Some people volunteer. You know what? I'll go ahead and roll out, man. I had that a lot of times, and they actually left. But it's not so easy as, just making someone leave. That's not what we can do. Yeah.
So what we'll do, because it's gonna take too much on my part to get to Nikki. We may have to do like a part 2 one of these days, because now like the quarantine is just gonna be over.
You can do a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, we may do a part 2 with Nikki on it, so she can talk to it, because I think it's very important.
What? Nikki, she ain't got a Facebook? Throw the link.
She does, but I don't. I would have to tell her how to get to me, and then I'd have to send her the link, and it'll take a while. So we'll get her on here on a separate show, and she can work on her quarantine hair and get it, and we can get it in. So yeah. On that note, we're gonna close this particular one out, because we coming up close to almost an hour. So thank you guys. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, share this, share, and invite people so that they can really get a chance to hear this from a different voice. Because just like a little kid, sometimes you keep telling them stuff, they don't do it, and then somebody come in and be like, "Yeah, go ahead and do that," and they be like, "Okay." So sometimes it's that. It's just that. So
no, you're not, Nikki. You did it on purpose.
Let me go in here real quick, so I can at least capture Nikki's say one more thing, Nikki, so I can capture your information.
Yeah, sure. That's we appreciate you, but yeah, we can't make someone leave their home, man. It's just, unfortunately, we can't. It's your home. Like, that's just, I guess, equates to us, an officer walking up to your door, say, "You know what, get out."
Yeah.
Just, it's pretty much the same thing. Are you gonna listen to the officer tell you get out? Nah, you don't want to hear that. So it's essentially the same thing. We just can't make someone, leave their home without if they're leaving, unless, I'm sorry, we can, if it's a protective order. A protective order, the commissioner or judge can say, "You know what, you have to vacate the premises." They find cause for them to vacate the premises. At that point, we can make them leave, because it's court order. And if they refuse to leave, we can arrest them. But that's for the judges or the commissioner to decide, not us as an officer on scene. We can't do that.
Right.
So that's the only way. So in closing, I want to say this real quick. Mm-hmm. If you're feeling that is things are getting tense at home, hostile environment, try your best to diffuse the situation. Keep calm. Your partner's triggers. As best as possible, please don't try to trigger them. If you feel the need, if you can't just take it anymore, go get a protective order. Go to the commissioner's office. Courts are closed, at least here in Charles County. Courts are closed for, I just was told today, to May something. But you can go to the commissioner's office, get a protective order. But people, please only do it if necessary. Please don't just do it because of a argument, or you don't like the way this person fried the food last night, or didn't give you extra $10, or on Fortnite too long, something like that, man. Don't do it over something dumb, man. The systems are tied up. Officers' resources are being depleted. So please keep that in mind. There's so many stupid reasons people are trying to go down and get these orders, and it's retarded. So please, if you feel it, if your life is in danger, if your kid's life is in danger, you feel that your harm is going to be done to you, legit, then go down and get a protective order. If it's some other thing, something you had an argument and you just not feeling them right now, if you can't, go to a family member's house, go to a friend's house, please. Just,
hey, Nikki, check your email real quick. We're gonna try one last ditch effort for you.
Come on, Nikki.
Email. It's in your email right now.
I ain't eat breakfast, Nikki. I'm starving over here, Nikki.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get him some food. Check your email real quick before we go. If that don't work, I'm spent. I don't know what else to do.
We done. I know I'm gonna be on the beach in here about 8 o'clock tonight. So
I know you are.
You got me in the office right now. So I'm in the office for you, Nikki. I ain't eat breakfast yet, but I'm gonna be on the beach later on, baby. I might drink. I gotta go back to work tomorrow, so I might drink tonight.
Yeah. Michelle says, "Yeah, don't abuse the system. It makes it bad for those who really need the help."
Man, you have no idea. The system is abused. It needs to be revamped. I wish I could find a way. Once I get my reach the level of national certified, I'm going to start pushing campaigns, man. Maybe that way, at that point, people actually listen to me.
Oh, she just popped up.
Nikki, where you at?
Hold on, here she come. Here she come.
Thank you, Cheryl. Nikki,
unmute your mic, Nikki.
Give me 1 second.
There she
How's
goes.
that?
There you go.
We love that.
How's that?
Oh, there you go. That's what she really wanted to do. She really wanted to go.
I had to close it.
We already saw you, man. You might as well come on back.
I'm sorry, I just came back from work. I'm an essential worker, so excuse me. I'm sorry, I couldn't go live. I'm sorry.
No, you fine. You good.
No problem. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
What is it exactly you would like for me to speak about? I made so many comments.
What? You're the one who came in.
You pick one. You pick one and just go.
Okay, so first I want to say is that people who are who are in a domestic violence situation, do not include your children in it. Okay, children are to be protected, right? So don't make your children feel bad. In other words, like you said, don't say to your children, I'm staying in this environment because I want you to have a mom or dad. It is so contradictory to healthy behavior, because what you're demonstrating is that in order to have a healthy behavior, you got to be unhealthy. Okay,
right.
So that's one of the things that I know for a fact, because I lived through it, and I even put it in the comments that, you know, my mom has said to me on several occasions, even to this day, the reason why she stayed with my dad is not because of love or concern or anything like that. It's because she stayed because of us, and it makes me feel really bad.
Yeah,
I get that. You're putting pressure on kids that undue pressure.
And I understand why they say those things. I do. I really do. Like, I appreciate the fact that my parents stayed together as a financial entity.
Yes.
To get us through private school and college and all of. I get it. I totally get it, because at the end of the day, we all want the best for our children. So I don't erase that.
Now, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question real quick. Is it not possible to achieve those same goals outside of the family, outside of?
Well, we know that it's possible. We know it's possible because we see it every day.
Right.
But during those times, that wasn't, an option available.
Yeah. Okay, right. I get it.
So, you got to take things as they're given to you. I have so much appreciation for my grandmother, who also went through domestic violence, and my mom, and I really don't believe that my mom understands that she is in that situation, because there's still the excuses and the reasons why, you know what I'm saying? And I'm 44 years old. Like, I don't require that anymore. But in her mind, she required to tell me that.
Right.
So I don't take away from those that are, I mean, for all I know, that's the norm to them. Obviously, it was in my lineage. It's the norm for the men to be aggressive and abusive and things like that.
So I have a question, and then we're gonna wrap this up, and I may have you back another time, Nikki. Now that I have your information, my question to you is, since you said that about that being the norm in your family, and you being 44 now, were there points in your life where this affected your decision making as far as your relationship?
Oh my God, can I talk about it though? That could go on for hours. To be honest with you, and let me say this. I really do appreciate you doing this and having this type of platform, because this is something that still goes on in our neighborhoods, that we don't, in our communities, that we don't talk about, because it's such taboo, and unfortunately with the women believing that they have to stay. I mean, it hurts me so bad to encounter women who said, oh my God, I stayed for my children, because it hits me to my core.
Yeah.
It really does. So I want to say thank you for opening up this airway to have this type of conversation.
Yeah.
And if you want to have me back on, please contact me. I mean, like I say, I am a DV advocate, and I also deal with perpetrators. So, I mean, I get it from both sides. And to be honest with you, I really do understand both sides of the game.
Right.
So understand it, because hurt people hurt people.
Absolutely.
I know that's very cliche, but hurt people hurt people. You wouldn't want to do these things if they were not shown to you.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? It's all learned behavior.
Yeah.
Children don't come out being hateful individuals. They really don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to your question, I don't believe that children are served any justice by staying in an environment like that. And to put that type of pressure on a child's shoulders, it is reinforcing the behavior.
Yeah.
Because my daughter is 16 years old. If I would have stayed with her dad, that would have been enforcing the behavior of, this is what you should get. This is how you stay happy. This is how you go on vacation. This is how you look cute. This is, all of that. So I would suggest anybody who's in a domestic violence situation, seek help. I understand that it takes time. I understand that, you have to build up, like a next level of self-esteem. However, like you said, create a plan, save your money where you can, have an exit strategy.
Yep.
But once again, if you don't know these things, which is why I'm so glad that I got two men that's talking about this and not thinking of it as cliche or trying to say that Black women are independent or negative and this and that towards Black men. No, the reality of the situation is that if it don't feel good, it ain't good.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah. So this what we gonna do.
That's all.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna have you on a separate show too, Nikki. We're gonna wrap this up. We're probably gonna do a part 2, maybe sometime next week. We don't know. I don't know what time. I don't know what day. We'll figure that out. And what I want for you to do, Nikki, is I want you to speak about how the decision making of your relationships were affected by just seeing that stuff. I want you to talk
totally
about
distorted.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap a show around.
Thank you.
That, because this is what people don't really get to see. We talk about the little kids, but we never really see that little kid grown up and see that the track that behavior has built into them, even though on the outside everything may look cool. There's
my
always
thing
a pattern.
is that my thing is that what I've seen, throughout this journey, is that either you're gonna be an abuser or you're gonna be abused.
Right.
And it's a very sad thing, because it's like, those are the choices that you can make. You know what I'm saying? And that's so sad, because the thing about it is that there is a middle area, a gray area that says that I'm not going to participate in either one. I'm going to go get some help. If I feel those rages coming up in me, I need to seek some type of help, whether it's either or. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't sit here as a professional and tell you that I have not been abusive. I can't say that, because the reason why abusive people are so effective is because they will go for the people that don't have any defense.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that they're not like that, and it doesn't mean that. And the reason why I got involved in perpetrators is because there is repentance for perpetrators. Hurt people. But if you can show them another avenue that is healthier for them, whether it's to stay out of jail or to, reacclimate themselves into society, it's worth the effort. It really is. There are so many people who are coming up against charges that really they were only defending themselves against another perpetrator. But the law, unfortunately, is set to make the person with the black eye, and I heard somebody say this, the laws are set to make it seem like the person with the most injuries is the abused person. But that's not always true. And most men don't come forward with allegations of abuse. They won't. And that's so sad, because we know there are a lot of women who are hurt too. And they will pick the weaker of the men to continue the abuse.
Yeah.
So we have to be hyper vigilant in who we say is the victim. And I know at first call we have to say the victim that we see now is the victim, but that's not always the case. Yeah. Anybody that's withholding, using their children, right? Anybody that's using children as a scapegoat or an avenue to perpetrate the abuse, those are the perpetrators.
Right.
That's the perpetrator, because you don't use children. Children are not part of the end game.
Yep.
So, Miss Nikki,
sorry if I was low-winded.
No, you good. You good. The information is good. That's why we're gonna have you back. So, I'm gonna talk to you offline. Me and Disco always. I think we got another show tonight too, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah. So
I'll follow you guys and I'll make sure I stay in tune to when you're on.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Thank you, Nikki, for chiming in.
Thank you for allowing the only female to speak.
Right. It's okay. Next time we're gonna get more information from you, because I think you got a story to tell. So we're gonna get that in.
I really do.
And I will be back on tonight talking about relationships again at 8 p.m. And then Mr. Jackson has a show that comes on at 9. So if you follow me, you'll be attached to those things so that you can stay connected. And we're gonna do this again probably one day next week, just to do a part 2 so we can get more information, because there's more to this, and you can never talk about it enough. So I thank you both.
Thank you.
And we're gonna sign off, and everybody have a great day. Stay safe.
Let me get a disclaimer real quick, Nikki. The show at 9 o'clock is a lot more ratchet.
Yeah. It's like after dark. Yeah.
It's after dark. So
yeah.
Take who
Oh,
you
it
see
doesn't
right
wait.
now. Don't hold with who you see later against what you see now. All right. This is me
No,
right
I
here.
will not. And let me tell you something.
Okay.
I can handle the roughest of the rough.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, I
So,
appreciate you guys and continue your work and your efforts, and may God continue to bless you and keep you safe and by all means necessary. I really do appreciate it because a lot of people aren't talking about this.
right.
A lot of people aren't talking about the fact that you are confined in an environment where someone is possibly holding you captive. You know, and I don't think the government or the powers that be are understanding that a lot of people want to get back to work because they don't want to have to deal with this.
Yep.
They really don't.
Yeah,
So they will supersede their health over
yeah,
all of this. Okay.
we're gonna expound on that because that's a whole nother conversation for real. Like I'm gonna
Yes.
put some notes down, but we really gonna dig into this and really just we need to let people see that they're not by themselves and that people have a story and
Amen.
you can get out of this and survive. So we're gonna
Yes.
say goodbye. Everybody be safe. Wash
Thank
your
you.
hands
Thank
and
you
your
for all your
butt.
technical work.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So
Have a great one.
we'll see you next time. And y'all be blessed and have a great day and have a great rest of your week and weekend. Signing off.
Bye.
All right, we're off the podcast part. I normally talk to people after this, but I think we didn't exhausted all the resources we had today. So come back tonight at 8 p.m. and we're gonna talk about relationships. It's like a panel that I have. So just come back. It's a great opportunity for you to get some different perspectives about what you may or may not be going through. And even if you're not in a relationship, just come and get some tools and get some information and some nuggets so that you can take that back with you. So when you do make that decision to get in a relationship with somebody, you armed with some tools that you may not have been taught. So y'all have a great day and we will talk to you later.